A decades-long kidnapping and murder case that once seemed to have reached a resolution has been left unsolved, with the man initially convicted of the crime now exonerated. The case in question is that of 7-year-old Maria Ridulph, who was kidnapped and murdered in Sycamore, Illinois in 1957. According to eyewitness testimony from Maria's best friend, Kathy Sigmund Chapman, a man who introduced himself as Johnny approached the two girls on a street corner 3 weeks before Christmas Day in 1957. The stranger offered Maria a piggyback ride and asked to see their toys. Kathy went home to get her mittens, and when she returned, Johnny and Maria were gone. Maria's father soon began searching for his daughter, and the Ridulph family reported her missing about 2 hours later. An extensive search by local, state, and federal investigators ensued, and Maria's body was discovered more than 4 months later in a wooded area roughly 100 miles away. The case went cold, but in 2008, a new lead emerged when the stepsister of a man named Jack McCullough, who had been questioned by police shortly after Maria's disappearance, contacted authorities. The stepsister claimed that their mother had implicated McCullough in the crime on her deathbed, saying, "Those two little girls and the one who disappeared, John did it." McCullough, who had changed his name from John Tessier, was a neighbor of the Ridulph family at the time of the kidnapping. He maintained his innocence, claiming he was taking a military recruiting exam in Rockford, Illinois, roughly 40 miles away at the time Maria went missing. Despite this alibi, McCullough was convicted and sentenced to life in prison in 2012, based solely on eyewitness testimony from Kathy, who picked him out of a lineup more than 50 years after the crime. However, in 2016, McCullough's conviction was vacated after evidence was re-examined, and it was determined that he was indeed at the military exam at the time of Maria's disappearance. McCullough's mother's deathbed assertion was made while she was on morphine and was pleasantly confused, according to a doctor's testimony. Prosecutors also acknowledged that investigators used suggestive tactics to get eyewitnesses to pick McCullough out of a lineup decades after the crime. Although the Ridulph family remained convinced that McCullough was the perpetrator, he was granted his freedom in 2016. In the year following his release, McCullough won more than $4 million in legal settlements with the state of Illinois, the town of Sycamore, and others related to his wrongful conviction. The case remains unsolved, with many questions still unanswered. As McCullough's stepdaughter, Janie O'Connor, pointed out, "If they had a tiny bit of evidence, maybe I'd think, could it be? But they have no evidence. They have no proof." The Maria Ridulph case is a stark reminder of the importance of thorough investigations and the need for concrete evidence in securing convictions. As the case continues to go unsolved, the community remains hopeful that one day, justice will be served for Maria and her family.